Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat, and so we're going to continue on today doing some watercolor stuff. I've done this little strip here, and that's kind of what we're going to be working on. The only difference is I'm not going to do it for the gnome kit, because as you can see, I've already done one, so we're going to do some different colors and themes so that it might fit into more of, you know, kind of what everybody's doing, or maybe what you're doing. I don't know about everybody. Anyways, I hope you're all doing good. I hope you're having a fantastic day. So all I've done is take a piece of watercolor paper and you can see different color watercolors in the background. And then I kind of just doodled some little twirly branches and leaves and stuff on there, and then glued down some of the images from the kit. And then when you glue it onto the page, it just makes a nice little tuck spot. So that's what we're going to do, but we're going to do it in other colors. If I could talk. I have some metallics. I have my Arteza, just 36 colors here. Watercolor, use whatever you've got. You could use coffee. I have some coffee. We might do, let's start with one with coffee, and then we will do other colors. So how y'all doing today? I hope you're doing good. You can see I've taped off my, I was going to dip it in the coffee and I wasn't ready yet, paper, and I've done about 2-inch strips. Now, it's not perfect, I know that, but it doesn't really matter because they will get kind of torn and stuff. So unless you want yours perfect, if you want them perfect, get real measury about it, and you'll be able to have a better version of, you know, if you want it super perfectly 2 inches or however big you want them. You can make them any size. You could make a bigger, wider strip too. So it doesn't have to be this size. This is just kind of what I decided to do. But there's no right or wrong. It's all in fun. It's what we're doing. And yes, I am stuck on the watercolor thing right now, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please let me know. Just something different for a background rather than what we all always do. So I just kind of wanted to keep on with it and maybe try some other variations, like this isn't going to be for that gnome journal. So just putting down some gold paint, and you can put it down however you like. I am not a expert on watercolor by any stretch of the imagination, so you do it your way, I do it my way, and in the end it'll all be just fine. There are definitely people to watch if you're more interested in like an actual watercolor artist. There are definitely a lot of people that do that, and one I would recommend is Cece. She does beautiful, beautiful work. And I do go to her a lot when I get stuck, like I get kind of a block or whatever you would call it as an artist. Time when I'm not feeling so creative. And I've kind of been struggling a lot with that lately, and I still kind of am, and that's why we're still doing watercolor. I think it's just, it helps me kind of get out of that funk, so to speak. And I just enjoy it anyways, even though I'm not like real great at it. I think you need to do it a lot to get, it's like anything, you know, train the brain thing. So I definitely believe that's the truth for that as well. Like anything. Oops, I forgot to get this wet. Oh, that's okay. We're just going to put a little coffee on here. You don't have to do wet on wet. You can do wet on dry. It doesn't, I mean, it makes a difference because obviously the color spreads a little bit more with the wet on wet, but dry kind of gives you can already see like this coffee is darker than when I put the coffee on there because it's not watered down. It's going on dry. So it's just, you know, preference really. And again, you do it the way you like to do it. It just gives you color in the background, which I like. And then you don't, you know, you can put other things over the top and it just gives you a little bit of interest back there, which is fun. I went the other day and got a new one of these. I know I've got lots of these colors left, but I'm almost out of the gold, and that's obviously my favorite one. So you can do splatters and whatever you want. I find it very relaxing. Maybe that's why I like it so much, because it's relaxing. Oh, I know what I was going to talk to you guys about, because I've had lots of people say on some of the other little collage pieces I've done, you should make copies of those and sell them in your shop, and then that way we could buy them and use them on cards or whatever. And I would love to do that, but the problem is, like, all the stamps and all the things that I use with that, any of the paper dolls, all those things are under copyright. And so you can't, like, I could sell the little clusters just the way they are, but I can't copy them and sell them as a digital or anything like that, because that's against copyright. So although that would be super fun to do, I might try to do some things that just use some old papers and things that I have, maybe. And I am working on a digital right now that has a little bit more of the, you know, things I've made kind of idea to it. So hopefully that'll be something you guys like. Yeah, that's the bummer part. Like, I wish you could do that, because I get so many, you know, great ideas and things that would be super fun to share, and they would be fun digitals, because I even think, gosh, I wish I could, you know, copy this and reuse it. I mean, you can do that if you're making stuff just for yourself. You can, like, if you're making journals and things just for you, or to, like, give to your daughter or whoever as a gift, that kind of thing, you can do a little, you can get away with a little bit more of that, but not with what I do. I don't want to get in trouble. So can't do it. Would love to. Sorry, I'm trying to get it just a piece of plastic, and I have a big mess on my desk like always, because I've been working on all different things. I'm going to use some walnut stain, Distress Oxide, with this, and you guys see me do this because I did it just last week, I think. It just kind of is a real pop of strong color, and that's just kind of fun to play with. And then it also oxidizes, so that's even more fun. But yeah, you can just play around with these, add color, and then when it dries, if you add more, it'll stand out a little bit more, you know. So there's definitely advantages to having these little play sessions for sure. They and leave a little white space if you can. That's always a good idea. Like that one I pretty much covered, so it's kind of a phooey, but it's good to leave a little white space. It just adds interest. I'm waiting on the Letitia Stout trial. I'm sure you all, those of you that are watching, are doing the same. It's just so interesting. I don't get what happened there, but and I guess I never will understand that. But that stuff happens all the time, and I don't know why. I think hers is kind of fascinating to me just because of, I mean, all the lies that went into it and just everything. And I find it fascinating that she's trying to plead insanity. I sort of feel like you clearly knew you had done wrong, and I don't know. I thought the jury would come right back too, and they didn't. So that's interesting as well. Look, it just becomes more fascinating. So you can get as detailed as you want. You could just, you know, put some spots of coffee down or whatever and be done with it. It's really, like I said, a personal decision on how you want to do them, because a lot of this will get covered, I'm going to be honest, because I'll stamp it and a collage on it and whatever. So a lot of it won't even be seen. So why do we do all this? Well, partially because I like doing this kind of thing. And also those kind of layers underneath just really give you something interesting in the end, I feel like. But I mean, you could even do them just with the watercolor and then and leave them and tear them a little bit and then put them in your journal. They don't have to be all stamped and everything. I just like doing that. But that doesn't mean that's the right way to do it. Put some splatters on here. I might go ahead and use a little black. Yeah, I definitely like it when I leave some white space. Some of those I got a little carried away in the beginning, which happens a lot in the start because I just forget, you know, how I want to do it until I start doing it. And then it's like, oh, I wish I would have left more white space there. Oh, come on. But they're fun. That's very true. All right, I'm going to get them dry and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. They're all dry now. That took a minute. I added a little bit of more coffee on here and then did some gold splatter. So did add a few little things without you guys. But, you know, that's always interesting to do because of drying time and all those things. So anyhow, now we're going to stamp a bit like we've been doing, but these ones will be a little different. I'm not going to use any colored ink. I'm going to only use black. This is a Tim Holtz stamp. It's one of the ones that comes with a stencil. And so I'm just going to kind of use it here and there. And I left the tape on because I want to be able to have the stamps, you know, go off the edges and stuff like that and not get onto another stamp. Or, oh my gosh, strip of paper, Amy. Yeesh. Some days, I'm telling you, the brain, it aren't worth the darn. So they just did the sentencing verdict and found her guilty on all charges. So I'm very happy about that. I feel like that was completely insane. But I mean, not insane like she was insane. The whole thing. It's like, why would you ever do that? But that's the Letitia Stout trial. If you guys don't know what in the world I'm talking about. I watch Grizzly True Crime. I don't know. Yeah, I think you can find it on Twitter as far as information about the case. You can find on Twitter or a lot of other places, but I watch Grizzly True Crime on YouTube, and I think she does a great job. She's actually she's from South Africa, but she lives in the Netherlands with her husband now and does true crime cases. And it's grizzly as in grizzly bear. So I really like her. She's a very kind lady and has a soothing, calm voice. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't want to listen to someone who's all talking 90 miles an hour and wound up about whatever. So it's nice because she's pretty chill. I mean, she definitely feels these cases like she's upset and everything, but she's not. She's just, her demeanor is very calm. So these are so fun, you guys. I'm just so hooked on this. I just think it's such a great background. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. I mean, we've all done all different kinds of backgrounds for sure, and I've used paint for stuff and inks and whatever, but I just really like this a lot, this watercolor background with the stamping and the ink and just all the fun stuff. It's just very fun. I hope you guys like it. I hope you're not totally sick of it. Try to do something a little bit different instead of doing the same, the exact same thing every time. So I'm hoping you're enjoying it. I don't know what happens to the creativity sometimes. It just gets zapped. So anything that will be fun or exciting, I tend to try to let myself do because it just makes it work better. Fighting it is not, it just doesn't work, so. Or trying to force something that you don't really feel like doing. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. And again, a lot of these things you might not see at all. Some you might see all of it, of whatever the thing is I'm stamping. I mean, you don't know until it's done, really, because it's just one of those things. So you might think, why'd you stamp that? And then you're covering it. Well, it's kind of like you don't always know exactly where you're going to put something. It just depends on how it looks and everything. I've got ink all over me. And like I said, they would even be fun just like this, I think. If you just wanted to add it on the edge of a page for some decoration. But it's always fun to decorate further. Okay, and I don't know what else here. I keep putting it with the inky side down on my table, and then it'll be a pain to get that ink off because this is the permanent ink. This is, because I have people ask, VersaFine. I like that. It does really well with stamps, I feel like. This way. It's kind of crazy how all these people from different countries follow these cases in America. I mean, they follow stuff in their own countries too. It's just funny because they get a big audience, so. Let's go this way. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you use the same stamp on all of them or whatever, because they're not all going to get used in the same journal. So it doesn't make any difference. So I think that's good. And then what we're going to do is take the tape off, because I want to be able to see what I'm doing here. And I mean, you could stitch on these. I do have some bits of fabric. I might add some bits of fabric. You could just do whatever you do with any other border type piece. But I think they're very fun. And they turn out pretty neat looking, I think. So I hope you guys try it. I know a lot of people have tried the other... I'm trying to think what I want to do here, sorry. The other watercolor things, a few people I've seen have posted on Instagram, and they've tried making different backgrounds, and it's just really fun to see what everybody's doing. So I'm just gonna like do one just so we can see how we do it, or you know what I might do to it, and then I'll probably wait on the others. You know what would be great is to just make up a whole bunch of them, the background, and then keep it for when you know you're doing a journal. And then you could add bits from, you know, say you're making a sewing journal or whatever. You could add stuff from that, or more of a vintage look, or whatever the thing is that you're doing. And I know that one I tore, you can tear real random too, which is what I did on the gnome one. But this one I'm doing a little straighter, just as an example, but you can get as fancy with the tearing as you want. Oh, got ink all over me. And then I just think it would be fun to just add some bits of things. You could even use your tiny attacher, whatever. Stitching. I think what I'm going to do is add a little glue, and then I'm going to run it through the sewing machine. But if you don't want to do the sewing machine, like I said, the little tiny attacher or whatever type of thing you like to attach stuff, if you want to put fabric, use a little Fabri-Tac. So I think you could do lots of fun stuff with these. Okay. Then like maybe a mushroom. This is a washi mushroom. Now that my fingers are all black from washi sticker mushroom. That's what it is. You know what I might do first is put a little piece of book page, only because I think that'll help the mushroom show up a little bit. Do I want it to go up that? I think I want it to go to about here. I'll just use some of my other glue. I used watercolor paper for this. You could probably use most any paper. You might have to put it under like a book or something to get it nice and flattened out. I mean, I would use something with a little bit of heft to it just to take the watercolor. Like copy paper tends to get kind of beat up, but you can definitely try all kinds of different paper. That's one way of doing it, to figure out what you like on it, you know, or what works best for what you want to see. It's kind of hard to see those, but it's okay. I was going to put that in there. That wouldn't work so good. Ay, ay, ay. All right, what else do we want? Can use Tim Holtz little bits of things. Got a little fern here. I don't know that I like that red with this. I like it on other things, but not with this. That might work. This is just a random piece of paper. Let me see. I want to do maybe a piece of this, but stamp it first. I don't want to touch that because I will mess it up probably. Sorry, my neighbors have just gotten, I think it must be a puppy or something. I don't know. But anyways, it's got a real high pitch bark. I don't know if you guys can even hear it, but it startled me, so I said something. Made me jump. Oh, these little birds are so sweet too. Kind of ripped that little bird. Sorry, little bird. Little bird. It's the only thing. The ink takes a minute to dry, and I didn't let it dry. It's all right. Just is a little bit smudged. I mean, I really think those look pretty cool just on a piece of paper on their own. They're pretty neat looking bits. Okay. And I don't mind if it hangs over a little bit. That's not going to be a big deal. Especially on this side, because that's the side that most likely if I put it on the page, well, it could be the side that stuff would tuck into and it would be on the journal page rather than hanging off the page. Like this piece of the sticker, I'll probably snip off here. Just because I don't want it hanging off my journal or out of the journal. Just because it'll get messed up. All right, I think I'm good with that because I don't want to cover it entirely. I want to see some of the, you know, background spots. So I'm going to go stitch just probably through the lace because it doesn't really need it anywhere else. And then I'll be right back and I'll show you. Okay, so I did that. I just stitched right through there. You can see it better on the back. But that's all I stitched. You could definitely stitch the whole thing if you want to. But see, on a page, and this is a tiny bit long, so you could trim it. Or I would probably just let that hang out the top of the journal page. And then I would just glue on the bottom, up the side, and across. But, you know, if you want them to be the right size, then definitely you can tear that part off. And then it'll just fit right on your page, and you got a little tuck spot. So, I don't know, just a fun little thing to do, and I like them actually just on this page like this. I think they turned out pretty fun. but you could decorate them a million different ways. I think it'd be fun to just do a bunch of them, because you could even keep them just in a book or something like this. And then when you're ready, take them out and figure out which one you want, tear it out, and then decorate it up however you want. Or just plunk one on a page like that and without anything else on it. And I think they're pretty cool. So anyway, just another little idea. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you give it a try, and I would love to see if you make some. All right, we'll chat again tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye.